Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Welcome to this week's Walk and Talk, back over on Tunbridge Wells Common. Do you know what, I've probably seen more of this common in the last couple of weeks than I have in the last 2 years since I've moved down here. So from that point of view, I'm getting out into new areas, which is great. The weather, not as good as it's been the last couple of weeks, a little bit cold. Looks like it could rain any minute. So I thought I'd get this in a little bit earlier today than I normally do, just in case it does. So I'm walking on a different part of the common today. Firstly, again, thank you for all your comments and your likes and actually private messages, and even when I have conversations with people, they're all bringing up the Walk and Talk, which is fantastic. So I do think it's helping you guys in some way. Now, today I'm going to touch on that word ghosting. Had it done myself, it's not nice. I'll talk a bit about ghosting, and I'm going to talk about feedback and maybe rejection as well. So let's start with ghosting. And I had it done, like all of you, plenty of times. It's not nice. Now, the bit I'm going to say here is what stage do we call ghosting? And what I mean by that is, as you've heard me talk on here in the last few weeks, we talk about the amount of applications that recruiters are getting, and I've often had put ads out, and 300-400 people, you times that by 10 ads or 10 jobs, 10 roles, that's a lot of people to get back to, and it just isn't possible to get back to every single one individually and tell them. So I'm not going to count that as ghosting. I think with that we have to accept, when you've got so many people applying for those roles, whether the role's right or not for them, and I talked about that last week, I think it just would be impossible for any recruiter to get back to every single person. You'd be up all night and every day you wouldn't get any work done. So I don't think that's the ghosting. The ghosting to me is when you've had a call, you've spoken to the recruiter or whoever, could be straight from the agency, could be a HR talent person. You've then actually gone and had an interview, and then you hear nothing. And this is a bit I really don't understand. This is a bit that actually is so wrong. So I can only talk for me and what I'm doing now, and I can talk for Jefferson as well, because we're all the same, Jefferson. And I have one rule, and that rule is, if I call you, if you've applied for a role and I've seen your portfolio and I think you could be a good fit, and I call you and we have that conversation and both of us feel that you're right for that role, we want to send you over to get at least a conversation. Once I do that and I send you, I absolutely guarantee 100% I get back to you. I think in the 18 months I've been there, I've not once ever not got back to someone. Now, what I would also say is sometimes that can take weeks. A lot of the clients are busy, a lot of the creative directors we deal with have got a lot on, and it's that catch-22 situation, isn't it? They're trying to hire, but they're too busy to look at the people we're sending. It takes time. But whoever it is, that agency are often really, really busy. So whoever we send it to, whether it's a creative director, whether it's the HR, the talent person, sometimes that can take ages, and could take weeks. And what I try to do, if I remember, is if it's taken a couple of weeks and I still haven't got feedback of any sort, ideally I'll email that person to say, hey Bob, hey Joe, just to let you know, haven't forgotten you, I'm still waiting for feedback. As soon as I get it, I'll get in touch with you. Now, once I get that feedback, whether it's after a day or 4 weeks or whatever, 100% I get back to you, okay? As I know everyone here at Jefferson do the same. So for me, I've never understood it when I hear stories where you've had an interview and they don't get back to you. I'll always do that, because like I said, I've been on that side, and it's not nice. It's not nice. And for me, if you've had an interview, you've got to get feedback. Someone's got to get back to you and say yes or no. Even if it's bad news, even if it's a no, they have to let you know. So with the ghosting, I don't think there's any excuse for people that do that. Very unprofessional, and we've all had it done to ourselves. It's not nice. But like I say, the one thing I always do is, if I call you and we chat and I send you over and you have an interview, I guarantee I'll get back to you, whether that's in a week or 4 weeks or whatever it is. Once the client gets back to me and tells me a yes or no, then I'll get in touch with you. Now on that, what's interesting here is feedback, because in an ideal world, people want to hear exactly why they haven't got that role, of course, and that's obvious. Sometimes people will give us a detailed feedback and sometimes they won't. A lot of time is a bit busy and we don't always get that. And when I call you guys to say, look, this is why I haven't asked you, not asking you back, sometimes the feedback is it's not very detailed and there's not a lot we can do. So on that, you know, it's just to understand we can't always give detailed feedback. Now, I know a lot of you, and I've had this myself, people say to me, if you give me detailed feedback, then maybe it'll help me in the next, when I apply again or the next role. Now, I've been thinking about that. And for me, I think there's only 2 types of feedback you're ever going to get. And especially now doing this for 18 months, I think I've realised that, because obviously now I'm giving that feedback or I'm getting that feedback from clients. And those 2 bits of feedback really are, you wasn't right for that role, i.e. your book or your CV or your portfolio didn't have the relevant work. And last week, or the last couple of weeks, I've talked about job descriptions, how specific and how you need to be really relevant and send in the right work, the sort of work the agency wants to see. Because if you don't, you're not going to get put forward. And as I said last week, whether we like it or not, that's the situation. So you're either going to get feedback that says you wasn't right for the role or you didn't show the necessary work, or it's going to be, yeah, we like the work, but we've got other people that we feel are stronger. And they tend to be the 2 bits of feedback we get, and often that I give. Because when I look at those hundreds and hundreds of books, that's what it all boils down to. Are you right for the role? If so, compared to others, are you better than them? So really, you're only ever going to get 2 bits of feedback, I think, and they're the 2 main ones. Okay, and not a lot of people like that. They want individual. It's hard to give, and I think if you're a junior starting your career, then maybe we can give you a bit more. We can help you a bit more, and I do that, especially with your websites and PDFs. But I think if you're mid to senior art director, designer, creative, whatever it is, writer, at the end of the day, when we get to that point, we have a style, we have a certain way of thinking, a certain way of working, and that's who we are. So when we get rejected, and again, had it done myself plenty of times, when they just say you're not right for the role, guess what? Sometimes you're not, and that's it. And there's nothing we can do about it. So even if we were to give you feedback on it, it's not really going to help. But they're the 2 types of feedback you're going to get generally. Okay, so I know people want more and that, but I would just say, oh, look, the sun's come out now, is it? I'm going to go this way, or maybe not, because the shadow's even worse there. Let me keep on walking here. There's me thinking it's going to rain, and guess what? The sun comes out. Look at that, really nice. So guys, in terms of that and the feedback, it's really going to be 2 lots. It's hard for someone to go into more detail on that. And because I know, look, rejection is hard. I never like being told, oh, you're not right for the job, or we've got someone better than you. But it happens, and we have to give that out. I recently had, I said no to someone recently, and they weren't very happy about it, and I got an email, probably the first one I've had, where, wasn't the nicest of emails, but I understand people are, especially in these times, especially rejections going on, it's tough, and therefore emotions are high, but when it comes to feedback, guys, we can't go into too much detail. It's just one of those 2 things. You're not right for the role, or there's someone better than you. Now, I think that's all it is this week. It's a really short one. I just wanted to touch on that because ghosting keeps coming up. It is important. And like I say, I can't talk for others, but when it comes to putting you guys forward for an interview, 100% we get back to you. And I'm, I can't talk for anyone else. I'm going to walk up here at the moment. This looks new. So again, I can't offer you an answer there just to tell you how we do it, because I know it's frustration. I know I've been giving you tips on things. I'm not sure what to say for that, except that's the process. It's a horrible one, and people sadly do it. Obviously, if someone's done that to you, then obviously chase them. But yeah, not a great thing. And again, in terms of feedback, I think it comes down to two things. Sometimes really wanting that feedback, I'm not sure it's going to help you moving forward a lot. And rejection, you know, it's a horrible thing. No one likes to have that done. But it's unfortunate, it's part of what we do. Look, I hope that helped. I think this week was less about giving you tips, just trying to get you understand a little bit about the process. And actually, this week's more simplified in the view than anything, because, like I say, what it done to me, and it's not the nicest of things. So listen, I'm going to go now. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you next week. See you later. Bye.